What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, we have a subscriber submission where he sent us a link to a Reddit post that talks about the word bearers going up against the Ultramarines. And he said he wanted us to talk about this because he's noticed that there's a lot of new people into the hobby, and he wants to showcase that just because you're a Primaris Marine, it doesn't mean that you're going to win against any other Chaos Space Marine. So I understand, it is true we have been getting a lot of new people coming into the hobby for a few reasons. One, 40K is becoming a bit more mainstream. We've seen more video games, and then we've also got more novels coming out, as well as the whole news that shook the world. Henry Cavill making a deal with Amazon to create a Warhammer cinematic universe. So that's definitely going to bring in a whole bunch of people. And if you're new to this, you're going to see Space Marines as being these badasses that are nigh unstoppable. Well, on top of Space Marines, there's another level to them, the Primaris Marine. And the Primaris Marine is a faster, stronger, more tougher version of the Space Marine that Belisarius Cawl basically created a new way to perfect the Emperor's creation. And with that being said, we have the Chaos Space Marines, which are essentially all, for the most part, Space Marines from back during the Heresy era, Warhammer 30K, and they've been alive for a long time. Whether it's through chaos keeping them alive, or them traversing into the warp and coming out in different time periods, the Chaos Space Marines have some boons that the Loyalist Marines do not. So, if it's a regular Space Marine going up against a Chaos Space Marine, I feel like normally the Chaos Space Marine should win, since they are empowered by the gods of chaos. However, that's not always the case. And then on top of that, we have the Primaris Space Marine, which is, like I said earlier, faster, stronger, better armor, better weaponry. However, they don't have the thousands of years of experience that the Firstborn Marines do. So, of course, since they're the new thing on the block, and everybody wants to see them do work, the Primaris Marines often have that whole Mary Sue ability to them, that no matter what they go up against, they tend to win, because of course GW wants to push these new things into the limelight and showcase their strength. However, in this novel excerpt that I'm going to be reading to you guys, the Throne of Light novel, we get to see a Primaris Ultramarine Lieutenant fighting against a Dark Apostle in Terminator armor. So Dark Apostles come from the Word Bearers, Chaos Space Marine Legion, and they have a grudge against the Ultramarines, as we can see during the Betrayal at Calth storyline that took place during the Heresy. I think we do have a playlist on that as well, so you guys can check that out so you can see what exactly goes on during this battle. But for this one, let's go and see how a Primaris Space Marine does against this ancient word-bearer Chaos Space Marine. The Primaris Ultramarine Lieutenant Arios raised his pistol and fired every bolt it carried directly at his opponent's head. The Dark Apostle twisted his hand. The bolts veered aside from him harmlessly, exploding on the walls and ceiling. "Are you the best the Corpse Emperor can do?" the warrior said. "In all the times I have faced you, I have yet to feel anything but contempt for your vaunted new Space Marines." He swiped at Arios with one of his enormous gauntlets. Clawed fingers screeched through the air. Arios dodged back. He tried to restart his sword. Then again, the disruption field flared back into life. 10,000 years of his so-called wisdom picked over this, said the Dark Apostle. Warriors that think like machines, spirit replaced by the vanity of technology. Where is the heart and the fury of the legions of old? Where are your souls? And they call you an improvement? You should know who ends you, Primaris. I am Predor Vrakon, bearer of the word. Submit yourself to me, and know the salvation of the four. The warrior advanced another step, striking with the butt of his gun, then his right power fist. Arios stood his ground, ducking the swiping gun so it passed a hair's breadth from his face. He only just caught the power fist. Rival disruption fields roared and crackled as his sword slid between Vrakan's claws, threatening to cut into the gauntlet. But the Dark Apostle twisted his wrist ever so slightly, trapping the blade between his fingers. He stared into Arios' eye lenses. "You are a captain, a hero of your dying god. Never have I seen less deserving of the rank." He twisted his wrist further, breaking Arios' weapon. The blade shattered. The power field burst with a dazzling blast of blue light that temporarily blinded Arios. But this did not seem to affect Vrakan. Arios shoved back, widening the gap between them. It was a desperate and ill-judged move. As the captain staggered, the Dark Apostle raked down. Fingers wreathed in destructive power tore through Arios' arm, the smoking remnants clashing into the ground. Arios roared at the pain. "To think the sons of the Emperor are so weak," Vrakan said. "I expect a challenge from you. Every time I face you, and every time a disappointment." He swiped again. A blow capable of breaking Arios' breastplate flung through. Another blow ripped the pauldrons from his ruined arm. Arios fell to his knees. Blood poured from his chest and arm. His shoulder was broken. Sharp bone splinters pressed into his lungs, and his breath had become a rapid, suffocating thing. Praetor Vrakan stood over him, peering contemptuously over the rim of his armor. "Pathetic," he said. He turned about and left Arios to die. So from this battle, what can we learn? A few things. One, a Chaos Space Marine does not have to have like a demon weapon or be physically empowered by chaos to be a badass. Vrakan did just that with just his skills alone. And even though he's been fighting for thousands of years, he was very disappointed in this fight for a few reasons. This is a Primaris Space Marine, so it should be a very powerful opponent for him, and he just manhandled him. Not just that, but this is a lieutenant, a warrior that has risen above others of just impeccable strength, speed, and combat ability, and yet this should have been a fight worthy of legend, and that it was nothing but a disappointment. So even though you're a Space Marine captain, chapter master, lieutenant, what have you, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to win every fight. It doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be this badass that is untouchable. Chaos has those just as well. So this goes to show you that the newest shiny new toy on the block isn't always better than old trusty, old reliable. So just because you're a firstborn Space Marine or a Chaos Space Marine from the 30K era, don't count them out if they're going up against a Primaris Space Marine. So there you go, guys. If you're new to Warhammer 40K, enjoy jumping into this massive ocean of lore. There is a ton of aspects to explore. It could be daunting, but, you know, just get through it bit by bit. And we got tons of videos if you guys want to check out the lore that way. The novels, the codices. There are a lot of avenues to explore if you want to learn more about this world of Warhammer 40K and Space Marines. So thank you to our subscriber. I believe his name was like T-Pain92 or something like that for recommending us to talk about this little excerpt. And again, for all things Warhammer 40K, be sure to check out the channel. If you like what we do here, a like, a comment, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. You can hit us up on Patreon for more support or send us a super thanks. And as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist, part of Wood Mine Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.